Hi, Sagittarius. So I started this reading. I got about 10 minutes into it and I was like, something just doesn't feel right. This just does not feel right. And I stopped the recording and saged all of my cards. I don't know. I was feeling like negative energy for some reason. So hopefully this cleared some crap out. I've never done that before. I have never started a reading and suddenly went, something's not right. So we'll see what happens. If some of the same cards come out, that'll be interesting. But anyway, so I'm Jody with Soul Purpose Tarot. Thanks for stopping by. If this is the first time you've ever been here, I would love it if you would like or subscribe or comment. And let me know what you thought. And if you're an old subscriber, then thanks for stopping by. And I usually will pull 4 or 5 different tarot cards just to kind of get an energy. So this is going to be for the second half of October. And hopefully that things are going a little better than they were. I have a couple of friends that are Sagittarius and they've had a little bit of a rough time lately. So I'm praying things are looking up for them. So hopefully when you watch this, I will either be on my way to Arizona, I will be in Arizona, or at least far, far, far away from Indiana, because I am getting ready to leave on vacation next week. So by the time this comes out and you watch it, it's going to be really close, and I'm excited. I haven't been on a vacation in a long time. So, all right, I need one more. Give me one more card for second half of October for Sagittarius, please. One more card, and make it good. Okay. All right, so... 3 of Cups. To me, this is a celebration card. And some people call this the third party card. I just see it as a celebration and happy times. And, you know, I mean, there's 3 women there dancing and drinking and having a good time. And usually in tarot, third party stuff doesn't usually have a good thing wrapped around it, but I don't see that in that card. So the second one that came up was justice. So somebody is being served up some justice and finally some good things are happening. So I feel like these 2 cards together are you're celebrating something finally went your way. Could have to do with the court case, could have to do with a contract, could have to do with anything, but some sort of justice, and you're celebrating what has happened. So interestingly enough, these are already completely different cards than the first batch that I started when I said something just doesn't feel right, and I stopped and saged everything. So, okay, so the 2 of Swords came up. Even though you're celebrating and things are starting to look up, I feel like there's still some negative thought patterns that are not allowing you to move completely forward. Kind of like you're waiting on the shoe to drop type of thing. And so that's just, you know, everybody has that negative patterns. And it's like when something good starts happening, you automatically think, you know, when's the bad going to happen? You're waiting on the bad, whatever. I know I just had that conversation with a girlfriend that came over earlier, and I did a reading for her. Temperance. In this case, it appears that you are trying to put a little balance into your life. Maybe things have been out of sort. I know the 2 Sagittarius friends that I have been getting kind of hammered with a lot of stuff, and so it looks to me like the second half of October, things are going to let up on you, and you're going to get some balance back in your life, and things aren't going to be so lopsided. And the Death card, which does not mean somebody is dying, but it means the end of something, the end of a cycle, the end of something that you've been going through. And normally this is a good, because the only thing that can happen after the death card is new beginnings. So that actually is a good card, not necessarily the Wheel of Fortune or the World card, but it's still an ending of a cycle. And if you've been going through a bad cycle, then you want the death card because you want that to be over. So let's see what, I don't feel like this necessarily, again, it doesn't feel like it's romance related. It doesn't necessarily feel like there could be some work stuff involved. It feels like it's more family related, life related stuff that is absolutely out of your control. It doesn't, it's just kind of like things that are happening around you and to you, but it's not anything that you necessarily, had much control over. It's just like you're standing in the middle and you're fighting off bullets, but so it's not romance, it's not work. Let's see. I'm doing mixed emotions cards, so this is just some give me an idea of some of the emotions that you're currently dealing with. Dang. And you got a lot of them, and they're falling out all over the place. So let's see. What kind of emotions are you dealing with? And that might help me kind of decide or figure out perhaps what area of life, well, that one feels like it wants to come out. What area of life is going on? If half the deck won't all fall out at the same time. Let's get one more. So the first one is depressed. The second one is stressed. The sad card came up in reverse. So in the grateful, okay, the grateful card came up in reverse. That's funny. I just had a conversation with someone about being grateful, and they're not grateful. But they need to be more grateful. Okay. All right. So we got 3 more. Okay. So you're feeling a little depressed and stressed, which could make sense. If you've had a lot of stuff thrown at you, that's automatically going to happen. If this was in the reverse position. So perhaps, like, if this goes along with the 3 of Cups cards, which is the celebration card, it's like your emotions are kind of all over the place, and it's like you feel a little bit like you're bipolar. One day you're down, one day you're up. This would be the opposite of sad, is happy. So one day you're like, okay, I'm getting a grip on this and everything's going to be okay. And then the next day something else happens. This one came in the reverse position, so I will speak on this. I think it is important to, when everything is slamming you in the face, it's important to take a look at what you have versus what you don't. And I know it's really easy for us at times to start getting really negative and start looking at all the things that have been taken away from you. And I had this conversation with a friend the other day, and I sold real estate for 20 something years. And when the market tanked in 2008, I no longer was able to live on my own. So I had to move in with a girlfriend, barely a girlfriend. I mean, she was an acquaintance more than anything. And I hated living there. I hated living with somebody else. My space was down in the basement, and it was cold down there, and it just was not homey whatsoever. And I was hating life. And I was trying to get myself out of this because I had pretty much hit rock bottom at that point in time. And I can remember, I think I got this book from the library, Marcy Shimoff. And she had this book called Happy for No Reason. And I remember thinking to myself, how in the hell do you get happy when everything is falling around your ears and everything is going on? And I think it was in her book she started talking about being grateful and starting to turn your thoughts around from where you are at in this negative thought process and try to figure out things that you are happy about. And so I started kind of doing this gratitude journal. And there were days that all I could really come up with was I'm breathing, I'm able to walk, I have a roof over my head, and I'm able to eat. I had no money in the bank. It was like I literally had been stripped of all of my possessions pretty much. I had a home at one time. I had a car that was in the process of getting repossessed. So everything that I had worked for my whole life had pretty much been stripped out from underneath of me, and I was kind of sitting at the bottom of the lake with a bunch of pebbles and dirty water. And it sucked. I mean, it sucked big time. And so I was doing everything I could in order to get myself out of that negative situation, and just anything I could do to make myself feel better. So that gratitude thing was the one thing, and I did it every day, and I tried to force myself to come up with 10 things, and for a long time it was like the 10 same 10 things that kept coming up. And slowly but surely I managed to kind of get myself out of that situation. One of the things that started happening was, I remember when I quit living with that gal, or she announced to me after being there for about a year that she was going to let the house go back to the bank, and that I was going to have to find a new living arrangement. And I got introduced to the oneness blessing. And the oneness blessing it's from India, but it has to do with like focusing on your intentions and like releasing negative thought patterns and kind of getting rid of the old programming and everything. And I was invited to go with a girlfriend of mine to a oneness blessing for my first time, like the day after it got announced that I was going to have to move. And so I'm flipping out, and I go to this oneness blessing, and they're doing the oneness blessing, and I bawled the whole time I was there. I mean, I was just like sobbing because I was at my wit's end of, oh my God, I've got to move again. And one of my big fears when I was younger was being homeless. And, here it's getting ready to happen to me again. I've already lost my house. I've been evicted from an apartment. I'm being evicted from this house that I have been living in because she's decided that, she couldn't handle her money. So she was going to let the house go back to the bank. And after I went to the oneness blessing and put out the intention there to find a new place to live, the next day I got a call from another friend of mine, and she was like, how happy are you with your current living situation? So I ended up going to live with her, and the oneness blessing was one of the things that seemed to propel me forward, and some good things started happening, because every time I would move, I would intentionally say, okay, this is where I'm at now, and I want the next place to be better, and the next place to be better, and the next place to be better. And I just kind of kept forward moving up and everything. But and that had a lot to do with focusing on what I was grateful for instead of focusing on the negative parts of what was going on. Anyway, I digress. So emotions that you're dealing with is grateful in the reverse position. So I would say work on being grateful for what you have, because if the universe doesn't know what you're grateful for, they can't give you more of that. And because of the way the law of attraction works, if you are focused on all of the shit that is flying at your face, you're going to get more of that, because the universe says, oh, you're thinking about this, and you're thinking about this, and you're thinking about this. Well, here, let me give you some more. So I am very, very, very conscious of what I think about on a day-to-day basis. I do not watch the news. I stay as far away from that as I can, because I don't want to watch 10 bad things just so I can see one good. that stuff gets stuck in my head. There's certain things I can't watch on TV. And, you know, Wayne Dyer was one of my favorite people to listen to when I was in the depths of depression and when everything was going wrong. And I would listen to him, and he always had a way of making you think everything's going to be okay. And you're going through this for a reason. And he helped me change my thought patterns from how I used to think to how I think now. So, I keep getting off subject. But anyway, one of the other feelings or emotions that you're going through right now is irritated because all of this stuff is going on. And it's because, I feel like it's because a lot of other people have caused, it's kind of like other people have caused this to happen. It hasn't necessarily been all you, but partially some of the people that you have surrounded yourself by, I feel like, is some of the reason why some of this is going on. You're not at this point yet. I don't know why it came up in the upright position. You're searching for fulfillment, to be satisfied, self-actualized, and at peace. But because of what you're going through, I feel like you're going to get to that point eventually. There's no way that you can't, because you go through what you go through, so you have the contrast between bad and good. So when you start going down the bad road again, you can go, nope, I'm not doing this again. And even Wayne Dyer had a story that he used to talk about how, like, you're walking down the street, you fall in a hole. And you get up, and you're like, damn, where'd that hole come from? You're walking down the street, you see the hole, and you walk around the hole. And then you keep walking down the street. You're walking down the street, you see the hole, you cross the road, and go over to the other side of the street because you are staying as far away from that as possible. And that seems to be how life is a lot of times, is you keep repeating some of the same stuff until you finally go, I ain't going near that hole again. And I'm keeping myself out of it. So by the end of the month, this says exhausted. By the end of the month, it feels like you're going to be getting in the upright position or not in the upright, you know, you won't be exhausted like you are now because of everything that's happened. So it feels like, because of the cards that are laid out here, is there's going to be some celebration, some ending to some cycles. You don't have everything all figured out just yet, but you're better than you were. And you consciously know some of the thought processes that you have been going through that may have caused some of this distress that you've been through. So I feel like the month of November is going to be a lot better, is because you're over the hard part. The hump is over. You're kind of on your way to better times, and I'm very happy to see that, because when I first started this reading, and I was like, no way, there is no way that they're going down this path again, and that's why I was like, this just doesn't feel right. Something doesn't feel right, and I stopped it and saged it, and I'm glad I did. So I don't know why my guides had me do that, other than, what is the moral of that story is, nope, we're not going down that road again. We're changing that up. We're not going down that road again, and this is where we're going now. I guess that is the moral of the story. That's exactly what they did to me. Nope, we're not going down that road again. So we're going to correct that, and we're going to correct it now before it gets out of control. Okay, so there's that message. I'm going to let's do some Whispers of Healing card here and see if they have any guidance on, this would be from the universe, your higher self, your oversoul, past relatives, anybody that may get in your head or have a little bit of influence over you. God, these cards are so big and they're hard to shuffle. Good grief. See if I can figure out any specific healing that they have. Okay, fine. Search within. Answers within. I think didn't I say early on about meditating? seek seclusion, reawaken, and guardian. Okay. So, I think seek seclusion and answers within basically is the same thing, that if you do some meditation, you might be able to get rid of this Two of Swords because you're trying to balance everything. And I think it helps you balance if you can go within and listen to your guides and see what way they are directing you. I also, my girlfriend that's a Sagittarius, I sent her a video the other day about how important it is to take some downtime for yourself, because I worry about her. She's busy, busy, busy all the time, and I just know that's not good for her. And she's one of the ones that's going through a lot of crap right now. And I wish there was something that I could do. And so the video was like, go take a nap. If you need to take a nap and you need some downtime, close that bedroom door, pull the covers up over your head, and do not feel bad about it, because it's really important to take care of yourself. If you're not going to do anybody else any good, and you're certainly not doing yourself any good. Reawaken. Okay, so what am I getting from that? Reawaken. You know, the thing that comes to me is lost knowledge. It's kind of like you know what you need to do, and you have shut that down, and you need to reawaken that inner voice or whatever, so you can hear what they're telling you as far as things to do and things not to do, and let your guides and your guardians do the guiding for you right now. Because I feel like you're probably not thinking straight. Although, like I said, things are getting better. You're starting to celebrate. Some endings have come. And you're getting out of what you were going through the last couple of months or whatever. It's not fully over yet, but it's getting there. So, I think that's it for today. This is the second half of October, and I look forward to hearing from you. If you want a private reading, the information is below, and I will see you the first part of November. Thanks.